Oh man, so many terrible movies. It must have been incredibly hard to pick the bottom spot on this list, right? No, it wasn't. It's not even close. The George Costanza one still wants to fuck the goat. That's funny, I guess. Isn't that so funny? Aren't you laughing so fucking hard right now? She works for a circus guy played by Chuck McGill, and he's the only source of mild entertainment in this movie, because sometimes it's a little funny how much he wants to have sexual intercourse with himself.
I could kiss me, but I'd fall in love.
But oh no, just like Gaston, his main motivation is to have Belle. You know that derp face Belle makes in this movie that everyone loves to point out? Yeah, that wasn't even like a smear frame someone took a screenshot of. They hold on that shot. They intentionally left this in the movie because they did not give a shit. Hey Lois, remember that time Tarzan danced, only for it to cut to an aerial dogfight with the ensuing story being about a spy who's trying to betray the British Empire and Tarzan needs to stop him? Uh-oh, it turns out he was evil the whole time. I can't believe it. It's not like it was extremely obvious.
That was
Finally, we get the spy story and it also sucks. Everything sucks. Honestly, hearing Johnny Test's voice come out of Milo was the best part of this movie for me. At least it woke me up from the coma everything else put me in. Oh man, I'm so invested in the epic saga of Joker Bear and Stupid Little Kid Bear. What wacky misadventures will they get into next? Yeah, I know we need to burn the amulet so you can get on with your life and marry the guy who has no dialogue for the first 2/3 of the movie. But first, I gotta set my moose friends up with some hot lady mooses. And then unfunny shenanigans ensue that pad out the runtime. I'll just go off of what I remember. Did you want to see more of Lady and the Tramp in this Lady and the Tramp sequel? If you answered yes, go fuck yourself. Mulan 2 is great. If you like boring movies with no plot where the comic relief from the first movie is the villain. Anyway, this is a Mulan sequel, so I'm sure there's gonna be some cool action, right? No, idiot! Instead, they just got to escort these 3 princesses to be arranged married in this completely made-up place called Qigong. It doesn't exist in real life, so I have no idea where the writers got the idea for this name from. Aren't you glad this is the sequel to a movie where a woman saves all of China? Isn't this exactly what you wanted Mulan to be doing after that? Only for them to repurpose them and shove these existing dog IPs of theirs into them. Bada boom, you've got a new movie on the shelf based on an existing property. I kinda feel insulted that I have to review it as one of the Disney sequels, because again, this reeks of a repurposed script that had nothing to do with The Fox and the Hound, before Disney got their grimy, money-hungry fingers all over it. Very stupid, and I'm never gonna remember anything about it, most likely. Oh no, a prequel about how King Triton hates music. Why? Because his wife got hit by a boat since she was trying to retrieve a music box. I'm sorry, that was her mistake. She was just being stupid. But of course, Triton assumes the problem was music and bans all music from the kingdom. Because his wife was trying to grab a music box when she died. Are you fucking serious? There's also this actually funny gag where she replicates Ariel's iconic shot in The Rock from the first Little Mermaid, but she falls over. That's actually pretty good. Oh no, Ariel's dead! Holy fucking shit, Ariel died in this prequel film. You know what that means. Time to bust out the Ariel Grimwalker theory. Oh wait, she's alive. Yay! I'd also like to point out that this guy was an adult when the Beast was 11 years old, so that's kinda sus. I would really love it if some sick, twisted fuck out there combines the 3 Beauty and the Beast movies together into one overly long Frankenstein's together film that randomly cuts between different levels of animation quality and loses any forward momentum of the plot for hours while we're at the castle. Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas. It was bad, but the scene where the helicopter crashed into Mr. Beast's castle was really funny. It's wild how it sets itself up as a role reversal of the first film, with Ariel's daughter wanting to go from dry lands to the sea. But then it takes that premise and just makes it lead to the exact same climax as the original, with basically the exact same villain. Say hello to Ursula's crazy sister.
Ursula's crazy sister!
And yeah, she's basically just Ursula again, even having the same voice actress. Oh well, at least she doesn't have the same name as my least favorite Persona character. Oh god damn it! Kids are stupid. They'll believe any dumb monster story you tell them. Except in this case, the story's actually true, so why don't you just tell her? There's a shark minion who works for Ursula's crazy sister, and he's voiced by Mr. Krabs. The only characters I liked in this are Sebastian, who miraculously still manages to be his charming, funny self from the original, and Chef Louis, who's in like one scene. My friends and I had this headcanon that he was doing so well in terms of not attacking crabs, but then seeing Sebastian at the party caused him to relapse for the first time in 12 years. How tragic. We were all rooting for you, Louis. Also, how did Sebastian destroy that entire cake? He's a tiny ass crab. There's no way he would have made that much of an impact. I don't give a shit if Poppy gives him the thumbs up or not. Who cares? Hey Lois, remember that time I turned into a human and the cat at the palace still tried to eat me for some reason? Like, why the hell was he doing that? Even though I am disappointed that Lucifer didn't canonically die at the end of the first movie.
You're supposed to be dead!
Tarzan 2, even though it's not a sequel, so they should have just called it Tarzan 1.5 or something. Like, the villains are these 3 apes, and for the life of me, I could not figure out their motives or why I should be threatened by them. The Return of Jafar. Wow, isn't that cool? He's back! If anyone wants to go back in time to 1994 to get these direct-to-DVD sequels off the menu, that would be awesome. Please do it for my sake. Okay, so what happens in this one? I think maybe Jafar returns, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, the main character is Iago now for some reason. The central character arc is about him becoming a good guy. And he also gets 2 songs, which a lot of people have complained about. But honestly, I don't mind hearing Gilbert Gottfried sing too much. It's about on the same level as hearing Doofenshmirtz sing, and nobody complains about that. So whatever, I kinda like his song, Sue Me. But there's some other decent stuff, like George Costanza's in this, and he's actually kinda funny. Which is so weird, like how is he funny in this, but not in a real Disney movie? I don't know how they managed that. There's no way there could ever be a bad Lilo and Stitch movie. Oh. Jumba gets kidnapped by Gantu, who in this movie proves to be horrendously incompetent. At one point, he's holding Jumba hostage unless Lilo and Stitch give him this alien. And when Lilo and Stitch don't do that and try to attack him, he starts firing at Stitch instead of just shooting Jumba. My dude, do you understand basic hostage situations? This is where you execute the hostage because your demands were not met. What are you doing? The hamster is okay, but kinda just a ripoff of the French dudes from Monty Python. There's a new experiment who liked sandwiches, and that's his whole character. And yep, that's pretty much it. He faked his own death and went into hiding. Obviously. You might even say that his death was greatly exaggerated.
I thought you were dead.
Greatly exaggerated.
Hey yo, what the fuck? Did Megamind rip off Pocahontas too, or am I just losing my mind? Anyway, now we're presented with this horrendously awkward love triangle. Does she choose the boring British dude named John, or the boring British dude named John? I'm so invested in this, wow. I mean, the 2 Johns have better chemistry with each other than either of them do with Pocahontas, so that's another option right there. They should have just kissed, and then Pocahontas goes back home to her people, and then the British never come to the Americas again. Yay, good ending. Need I remind you that we are in the top fucking 10 now, and we haven't even reached the movies I like yet. Why did I think this was a good idea? I guess if I had to choose between which of these movies I'd sooner watch again, I honestly might go with this one, even though the first film is definitely more iconic, and probably a stronger movie overall. This one is just a bit more entertaining to me. Is that okay? Am I allowed to say that? Or is there some underground Bambi 2 hating death cult who will revolt and never leave me alone if I say that I prefer the second movie over the first, even though I don't have strong feelings on either and I admitted the first one was technically better?
So we back in the jungle.
The Jungle Book 2. 2 book, 2 jungle. Mowgli is torn between the jungle and the man village, so he and Baloo wander through the jungle and meet kooky characters, and Shere Khan also wants to kill him. Pretty much the same, except now the girl from the village is looking for him, because she thought she could find him by herself in the dark jungle instead of alerting the adults. I thought this character was supposed to be not stupid. Again, this is why you introduce Hitler in the sequel, you cowards. I was actually getting emotionally invested in an early scene, and then they played a 2000s pop ballad and I started laughing. Remember how impactful the opening shot of the original was, as well as the dramatic thud of the title drop right after the music swelled? Well, in this movie, it just kinda opens. Just a casual fade into some random giraffes. Like, yep, this is the sequel to one of the most influential and beloved animated films of all time. No big deal. And instead of an impactful title drop, it just happens after a random Timon and Pumbaa joke. It was kind of hilarious at some points seeing random background animals start singing. I don't know, maybe it's because none of them really talked in the original, but it's just kind of jarring and unintentionally funny. Speaking of unintentionally funny, there's this nightmare Simba has that's supposed to be dramatic, but, Simba! Yeah, that probably got the biggest laugh out of me out of anything in the entire Lion King franchise. Oh, baby, baby. This is the one, right? This is the one everyone considers to be really good? Well, sorry to bust your bubble, but it's also just kind of okay to me. Even though he could probably solve like 90% of the conflicts in it. I love when stories have an OP character that could solve most of the conflicts and they just decide to not use them. It is very good writing. What the f***? Why did you go to all this effort then to get the Hand of Midas? This whole rigmarole with the deadly chamber inside the giant turtle and everything. Why go through all that if you're just gonna throw the hand away? Why not just leave once Aladdin saves you? Maybe he wants to keep the hand away from the villain, but the villain's an idiot who just touches it and turns the gold anyway. You never touch the Hand of Midas, dumbass. That's Hand of Midas 101.
Once again, this whole broadcast has been brought to you by Sam. It's everywhere. Get used to it.
But yeah, it's pretty clear that this is a TV show finale that just gets lumped in with all the other direct-to-DVD sequels for some reason. So basically, Stitch the movie was the Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories of the series. Except not actually, because Chain of Memories actually does take place between Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. But Lilo and Stitch 2, despite coming out after Stitch the movie, takes place before it. It's the true direct sequel to the original film. You just need to ignore the fact that it came out as the TV series was airing. This, of course, does not include the Stitch anime series, the Chinese Lilo and Stitch spinoff, or the manga series Stitch and the Samurai, where Stitch lands in Sengoku-era Japan and befriends a samurai. This is real. This actually exists. What is this franchise? Those elements just kind of fell into place as they were making it. But, and here's the crucial difference, unlike those other dog sequels, this one is actually genuinely good. Like, no joke. So, what is this movie about anyway? Legit, it's just Bolt, but good. Sorry, Bolt fans, I'm just goofing. I can totally respect how much you guys love that movie, especially since your reaction to me not liking it has been pretty calm and reasonable. You guys are like the opposite of Rio fans. Oh yeah, I guess I should explain that. This movie is about one of the 101 Dalmatians who feels pretty out of place in his family, since I guess all 100 of his siblings don't like him. Okay, sure, seems totally believable. And that's not even getting into Cruella de Vil in this movie. Oh my god. Basically, she falls in love with this eccentric artist Lars, who's easily one of the best characters to come out of any of these direct-to-DVD sequels. And at first, they just kind of make art together, and it's weirdly funny and charming. Until she tells him that she wants to use the puppy's coats as a canvas, and he's just like, why would you do that? So she just kidnaps him and reverts back to her old ways. I already lost the moment I chose to watch all these films. I will have gained nothing from this ranking unless I choose to embroider the top spot of my list with the one film that means more to me than all the rest of these movies combined. Lilo and Stitch 2 and 101 Dalmatians 2 are probably better movies than this film, so I want them to take a good look at the coveted #1 spot. This glorious position as the top dog of this ranking video. This status as the #1 Disney sequel of all time belongs to someone else. #1 is The Lion King 1.5. F*** you. It wins because nostalgia.